Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got done watching Happy Gilmore 2, which is something I never thought I would say out loud, that a Happy Gilmore sequel would get made or exist. I'm not even quite sure we needed this movie to get made or exist, but it's a 2025 film. Whoa! Hey, Double A, you're about to get your Johnson busted. That'd be a first, right? Good for you. And it's a Netflix movie. I want to make that clear, front and center, because I think that will go a lot into my feelings on how I thought of this film. This movie takes place, 30 years after the original? Now, I am a big fan of Happy Gilmore, the original. A huge fan. I have seen this movie so many times as a kid, and I think it still holds up, the comedy. Now, maybe it's partially nostalgia. Maybe it's partially because I was the right immature age to find a lot of that comedy funny. But whenever they do a comedy that's set, decades later, it's rare. I mean, you can maybe count on one hand and still have fingers left over for how many comedy sequels, decades apart, are as good or better than the original. So this film follows Adam Sandler back as Happy Gilmore, and you see that he's had a bunch of kids with his wife, Virginia, once again played by Julie Bowen, and you see that he's doing well until something happens. Something bad happens in his life that sort of sets him down a downward spiral and screws everything up. Loses his money, loses everything, right? So the reason why he gets back into golfing is because he needs to get money to help his daughter go to this ballet thing in Paris. Blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? So he has a reason to start golfing again. And the movie is just basically a bunch of hijinks and shenanigans of him doing all this. Obviously, it might not sound like I'm very high on this film or coming out of watching it that I am over the moon, that I'm jumping for joy, that I saw said sequel. I will say this. I don't hate this movie. I didn't get to the credits and say, wow, what a big fat waste of time, or wow, this was the worst movie of the year. No, I can't pretend like it's that bad, or I can't pretend like I have those feelings about this movie, because I'd be lying. And I also would be lying if I said that I didn't laugh at all throughout this film, because I did laugh a few times. I did get some laughs and some chuckles. I wasn't laughing all the way through. A lot of the humor didn't make me laugh, and I think it's a combination of maybe that style, that 90s style of humor, being a little forced now that all these characters are older, or that it's been so long, or maybe it's just me getting older to where it takes a lot more than what they're giving me to make me laugh at that level again. I will say that Adam Sandler is inoffensive as Happy Gilmore. He's not bad. He's actually pretty decent as far as playing an older version of this Happy Gilmore character. He still has those shades of things that I enjoyed. Whenever he got angry, whenever he was upset, him having his drinking problems. I thought they did a decent job of making the character interesting, given everything that has happened. Now, Julie Bowen, I went into this movie very glad that they brought her back. I was like, man, that's cool that they brought her back, that the characters are still together after the original film, and I couldn't wait to see what they did with her character. Because Julie Bowen, she's great, Modern Family, she's been around, she's proven that she can do comedy in her own way, and I don't think they used her well at all. 5 minutes into this movie, I was like, wow, so that's her role in this film. And it's not like she's not in the movie throughout at times, but I just feel like, man, this was lazy. We could have done so much more with her and her character. Some returning characters and actors from the original film. You have Ben Stiller, who I was very glad to see come back because he's great in the original film. All of his scenes with the grandmother, just some of the funniest parts of that first movie. And he made me laugh here. He's so good at playing this asshole character that's not redeemable at all. And it feels like it's been a while since we've seen Ben Stiller play that. Christopher McDonald is back as Shooter McGavin, and I liked how they introduced him, how much the events of the first movie really fucked him up and made him crazy and just sent him down this weird path of his hatred towards Happy. Halfway through the movie, though, it felt like they didn't know what to do with him. It felt like it was just like, okay, well, we did all of the bits that we probably could have done at any time if we made a Happy Gilmore sequel. Like, those beats made sense for that character to go through. But then halfway through, it was like, well, all right, he's just here. Now what? You know, like, we don't really want to spend too much time on him being the villain or whatnot, so we're just going to kind of cast him off a little bit. Some of actors that I was glad to see, or at least personalities that meant something to me. So Happy has a bunch of sons. One of his sons is played by AEW wrestler MJF. I liked him. I think he did a good job in the parts that he had. I think this movie, a big part of what could have helped this movie is that there's so many characters. There's so many bits of just random stuff. I think if we cut back on some of that, if we cut back on some characters or some bits that like don't really work all that much, this movie's 2 hours long. A comedy never needs to be 2 hours long. It's probably rare that you can find a comedy that's like, that needs to be 2 hours. Hour and a half, tops, as far as like how to get those jokes in and out. And I think, for example, if maybe there weren't so many sons, you could have had an MJF do a little bit more, stand out a little bit more. I did like his daughter in the movie, who is his daughter in real life, Sunny Sandler, who plays Vienna. I think she was good. He has another character in the film, in the AA group, that is also played by his daughter, but she's not his daughter in the movie. So he has two of his daughters playing different roles in this film, and normally I would complain about that. Normally I would say, oh, come on, dude, you're showing nepotism, you're just putting your kids in the spotlight, and they don't deserve it, they're not good. But they were actually pretty good, like the two of them. I was watching them and saying, you know, if I didn't know that they were his daughters, I would say that they're just good actresses in the... It's probably because they weren't being goofy, they weren't being over the top funny, they were just kind of being regular characters. Of course, you have some of Sandler's usual friends that we've seen over the years, right? Steve Buscemi, who I didn't really find... Like, he wasn't terrible, but I didn't find any of his bits to be all that amusing. Nick Swartzen, who used to be, like, the worst of the Sandler friends for me. Anytime he showed up, I just would roll my eyes and be like, this dude again. But Rob Schneider, why is he still showing up in anything? Like, honestly, fuck Rob Schneider. I never need or want to see him ever again. It's kind of random and funny that ever since whatever that movie was, that Eminem showed up in an Adam Sandler movie, ever since then, he's been popping up like randomly in Sandler's films. He's now graduated to one of Sandler's friends that show up. And his part here, it feels like he pissed Adam Sandler off. Because I'm like, why did we use Eminem for that? Some of the newer actors that show up, or personalities, Bad Bunny, who actually was decent. You know, for a guy that I haven't really seen act in movies all that much, I thought his role was quite amusing. Travis Kelce, who could have been terrible, but his bits were kind of chuckle-worthy. And Margaret Qualley, I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but I thought she was great. The little bits that she had, she was very goofy and very over the top, but like, I liked it. I liked seeing that side. One role that surprised me a lot was Benny Safdie, who is one of the Safdie brothers. They directed Sandler in that film that he got a bunch of critical praise for. Didn't get nominated for an Oscar. But I was surprised of how well Benny Safdie played this role, the head of this Maxi company that was the rival group that was competing with him. Like, he was fine. He wasn't too over the top. He wasn't annoying. He didn't get on my nerves. I mentioned MJF earlier. We also have some other wrestlers in this film. Becky Lynch, who, once again, situation where there's so many characters. I wish she had more to do because her bits were quite funny. Like, you could see her showing her personality there a little bit. I even saw, I think, Nikki Bella for like 2 seconds. She didn't have a speaking role. I think I heard that they cut all of her stuff out, which is wild to me. This movie's 2 hours long, and they actually had stuff to cut out. It feels like they just put everything into this damn film. Overall, I'm not going to say I hated this movie, like, if I'm being honest. I found some stuff funny. It's nowhere near as funny as the original, of course. I went into this not expecting it to be that good. So I think because my expectations were that low, because I actually thought this had the possibility of being a big, steaming, stinking pile of dog shit, the fact that it wasn't, the fact that it's a decent watch, the fact that it's a decent time waster, and the fact that it's on Netflix. I mentioned that earlier and why that's so important, because if I had seen this in the theater, I probably would be saying something else. But this on Netflix is inoffensible. It's something that, yeah, you could put on, especially if you're just bored and you're looking for something on a Friday night. So I'm going to give this a Netflix and chill. Oh, yeah. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Happy Gilmore 2? I know I should probably be angrier because of how much I do like Happy Gilmore. The question is Billy Madison next? Because I don't know if I can handle a shitty sequel to Billy Madison. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!